Hello, and welcome to the Forsaken Podcast. I'm Grim Reefer, here with Rygo
Howdy.
and Magic.
Hey, Grim. Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to all of you. Rygo, also Happy New Year to you as well.
Yeah.
You guys have any big New Year's resolutions other than to play FL more?
Nope. That's the one. That's it for me.
Play FL more across the board? You too, Magic? Is that true?
Oh, I'm still holding on to the New Year's resolution I did like 15 years ago, which was never again to make another New Year's resolution.
Okay, and that's totally respectable. So I want to talk today about, one of my favorite things in the regular world, and maybe some of yours too. I think a lot of people agree with this, but pets. I like pets in real life. In FL, not so much. Why? Because they've run their course, Can you imagine buying a dog and once you get to level 30 in real life, you're just like, all right, you're useless to me now. Fuck out of here. Or you like go do your daily stuff and then your dog gets killed because it doesn't have high HP. That would suck.
Speaking of pets and dogs, and wouldn't it be kind of cool if you could buy a pet at level 1 and it leveled up with you and got stronger with you?
As I was speaking just then, I was just thinking that. That is a brilliant idea, in my opinion. Yes.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
I mean, some classes kind of do that as it is.
I know, but just, I guess that would defeat the purpose of Ranger and,
Well, yes, but I mean, yeah, that would be some like reworking or something that would have to go into it. But the idea alone of having a pet that like gets experience with you and levels up, that's
maybe even just like to level 30, since that seems to be where the cutoff is for like, non-pet class and non-cabal pets.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it leveled up to like 30, so you didn't actually have to like go to different places. I guess, I don't know. It promotes walking around, I guess.
yeah, promotes walking
Buying
around.
more pets.
If only there were like an in-game, like mini game of Pokemon Go, like an equivalent of that. You could find these rare fucking animal babies and take them and raise them and feed them food. You have to go buy meat from the shop and feed it and shit. And like, if you don't take care of it, it turns on you and like hunts you down and tries to kick your ass. But if you take care of it and shit, it bonds to you and levels up with you.
Yeah, I mean, that to me is like an extra system similar to like crafting or something. It's something
Hell yeah.
on the side that you can do that, it would like, but that's the problem is you have classes that already utilize that kind of stuff, like Ranger with the pets, or like Crusader with armor craft, or Bard with their instruments. It would be cool to have those systems, but I think you would have to do something with the classes that utilize those types of systems right now.
What pets exist right now? I think we all know what the go-to pets are. But are there some like hidden pets that maybe we're not thinking of? Where can you buy pets? Where are all the places?
That I found there are 7 places where you can buy pets. It's
37 places.
No, 7.
Oh,
I was counting here. 1, 2, 3, and 7.
okay.
It isn't many, and it seems that most of the ranking pets, anyway, are all grabbed out of the Elven Kingdom.
And you're talking about the gorilla and the Alsatian.
Primarily, yes. And then once you hit 30, you've got a number of other pets that you can pick things up from. But I mean, Melbourne, Felmiran, Galranodon, Elven Kingdom area, Crandan, and Zymeria, you can all pick up pets from various levels.
Are they useful?
Outside the ones from the Elven Kingdom? No, not really.
Well, I think the troll is more than useful. It does bashing and dirt kicking.
Okay. Ranking pets sub 30, not really outside the ones in the Elven Kingdom.
True. I'll agree with that for sure. You like go and you get like a soldier or something, like a dwarf soldier. I can't remember specifically what they are in like Maelbrim, but you expect it to be, hey, this is level 5. The Alsatian is level 8, 7 or 8.
Alsatian is 8, yes. Gorilla's 20, and then you have the other ones at 30 that people pick up. Garnazon and Galranodon, the Durgar hometown. You've got the Elven Kingdom has the Pegasus. It works
Which
as
sucks.
a mount. No,
But
it
it
works
sucks.
as a mount. It works as a mount.
but it sucks as a pet.
Yeah, well, debatable, but if nothing else, you can use it as a pet. It flies, which means that you can cross water. No, wait. I think the other day I tested that out, and you couldn't actually cross water.
Yeah, it's mounted. When you mount it, its flying property like does not exist. If it were a flying mount, that would be cool.
Yeah, that it would. So yeah, even though it is flying, it doesn't transfer that onto you.
Does that work with any pet?
Well, see, pets are kind of a strange thing. Well, any Charmy that you come across, even though the Pegasus is flying and will cross water with you, it does not impart flying onto you. So you won't cross the water if you don't have a boat. You won't cross air tiles, and you won't be flying yourself, so it won't be trip avoidance, but it is flying itself.
They should make that a thing. Not necessarily the trip avoidance, because you don't want to negatively affect balance maybe that way, but with like crossing water in the air, that should be a thing in my opinion.
That'd be cool. And even if you did have it and you used it like as at level 50, like if you got a Pegasus, so that you could have some flying while you're going around. Even if you did get into combat, somebody would kill that Pegasus in one hit because it's real weak.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not your tanky pet. You've got the other three for that. You've got the cave troll, you've got the professional soldier, and you've got the garnizon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just talking about like if people were trying to exploit it at level 50 to get free like flying in combat or something.
Yeah, but me personally, if I were at level 50 in PKing, I wouldn't get a Pegasus for flight because there would be way too easy to kill and drop me to the ground.
Right, but what if you wanted it for RP purposes? You wanted to charge in on a Pegasus.
Well, regardless of that, you're not going to be using it in 50 fight anyway, because even with the cave troll, for example, it's going to be fairly quick to take down.
Yeah, it's gonna hose you. But I mean, Nexus has the dragon, so that could fly. I mean, it doesn't die right away, so I guess it could.
Well, yeah, but the Nexus pet is like a level 50 pet, level 52 pet, which a 20 rank difference between the ones you buy in these various areas, Cave Troll and Zymeria, Arya for the professional soldier. I mean, the difference is between night and day in that regard.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, it could be viable, I guess. I still wouldn't use it, but it would be something that you couldn't dispel, right? I guess.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing between that. Well, even
speaking of dispel, no.
Not yet, God damn it.
The mounts you buy in towns can't be dispelled anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no.
Why does a Winter Wolf cloak suck so bad? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that does give you a pet, doesn't it? It sucks so bad because you can really only pick it up at level 50, and it gives you a level 30 mob.
Yeah, it's yeah.
And it's got a cooldown on it.
Yeah, it's more for roleplay. Speaking of which, roleplay pets. Let's discuss those. The roleplay pets,
yes.
if you haven't had any, are pretty cool. But I will say I have one complaint, and that is they only last 24 hours, and then you have to summon them again, and it's fairly annoying.
Really?
Is there any way that we can, increase the duration on that?
I'm sure there is, and I've brought it up before, but I haven't really got much of a response on it because it's an inconvenience to have to summon it again every 24 hours, but it's not like game breaking, so I think it's not high on the priority list, I would say. But it would be, I agree, it is dumb, but it would be great if, it could not do that. Yeah, if it would just be permanent. Because, it could disappear in the middle of a roleplay session where you're using it.
Well, I don't know if it needs to be permanent, but, if nothing else, I mean, the pet can last itself, 100, 150 hours or something like that. It's a fairly lengthy duration, even if you're role playing. But the cooldown on the item itself can be like 24.
Let me ask you a question. Why wouldn't you make it permanent? Is there some reason that you wouldn't make it permanent?
get tired of seeing it around when you're walking around. But I mean,
You can release it.
outside that, no, I
Yeah.
suppose there isn't a reason why you wouldn't make it permanent.
Yeah, because you just toggle it on and off with release. Like you can release it whenever and then bring it back if you need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like 24 hours is just not enough time. I mean, you can spend 24 hours in one room role playing with someone, and it's not that much of time.
I have had to do that before, role playing with the role play pet, and have to call them like 2 or 3 times over the course.
Yeah, I have as well. It's a kind of annoyance and kind of immersion breaking. But again, I don't think it's like a giant deal, but it would be nice to see that extended to permanent.
I agree. Fully agree. I've never had one, but I had no idea that happened. And for such a high price, that's kind of a pain in the ass. And that is game breaking because immersion breaking is game breaking.
Well, I say game breaking in the sense of
It's
PK.
game breaking. Is this just PK? Is that all we do? Is that what the fuck this is? That's not what this is.
No, that's not all we do, but you still have to take that in consideration because it's half of the whole.
I don't know if it's half. It's probably. I mean, honestly, man, PK is probably like 25% of what FL.
A lot of people would argue that it's 75%.
They would argue that shit, but I'd shut that shit down because it's about creating the fucking character and inserting this character into this ongoing fucking story, which is the most. That's paramount. PK happens, but that's like the top of the surface of what the fuck the game is.
It really just depends on what you get out of the game. So,
but yeah, once you get out of that, like
people,
you can eat the top of your fucking you can eat the icing off the fucking cake if that's all you want to eat. But that's still only like a fraction of the fucking cake.
All I'm saying is that some people want to PK and they have to role play to do so, and some people want to role play and they don't even have to PK unless, of course, they're in Cabal Warfare or something. And then there's people who want to do both. So different people get different things out of the game, and as long as they're following the basic rules, I mean, then what if they want 80% PK, then that's fine, but they have to role play it.
Role play enforced, PK restricted.
But still, like the game itself, like people aside, just the game, like as it is 25% of it is PK. Because like I said, the game can exist without PK, but it absolutely can't exist without all the other elements because that's what it is.
It could exist, but it wouldn't be the same game.
No, it wouldn't. But it would still be very similar. Like you could still have FL even if there was no PK at all. It would still be very much FL. Characters being fleshed out, stories being written, interactions, and the world growing. The PK is just like I said, the icing on the cake. To make it like that. If you took the RP element out of it, it would not be the same game at fucking all.
Yeah, well then it would just be God Wars.
Yeah, it would be.
Except for Mortal Wars, I guess.
Yeah, it would be Mortal Wars. It'd be less colorful God Wars. By the way, yeah, you gotta. If you're epileptic, don't play God. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why, a lot of flashing colors on that or some shit?
Oh my god.
They go crazy with the colors.
It's vibrant.
When you get the ability to do restrings as Immortal, you have to watch how much color you put in things because we don't want a lot of colors. We don't want it to be real bright, goofy looking mud.
And yet we've got a surprising number of amount of colors in the game. Now it's not. I've gone to other MUDs and I've seen their butterflies where they have like 90 fucking colors on a butterfly, and this butterfly has a character string of like 14, 18 characters. It's just egregious.
Yeah.
But we
go overboard.
Compared to what we used to have, which was just our flat normal color, we've got a lot more color now than we did in the past.
Yeah, no, I agree because color is fun, but it's
done
also,
tastefully.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You got to do it tastefully. You can't overdo it, or else it just looks like a smear of color, and no one wants to see that. Well, I guess maybe some people do, but no one here, at least. That's why they're here. Because the visual aspect of the MUD is something, which is kind of funny to say over a text-based game.
It is. FL is probably one of the best. FL is probably the most formatted and cleanest looking MUDs I've ever played, like hands down. It looks, and that's what actually kept me here, was how good it looked. So props, shout out to that.
Yeah, in chat, HSM's asking, wasn't Ur's beard colored like an acid trip? And yes, it was. It kind of was. but there was a reason for that too. It's that he lost his beard during an RP session and got another one back, and it had hairs of different colors and textures and whatnot grow back onto his face. So yeah, that's why.
I've never heard that story.
I haven't told it. It was an RP with Sylph and I, and yeah, I nobody's really asked how I got the beard. They just said, "Hey, you got a colored beard?" Yes, I do. They never asked why.
Very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Now, do you think that beard would have remained colored if somebody cast dispel magic on it?
Jesus, wow.
Okay, E. Greer is asking, how do custom charmies work? Like people getting their blood guard renamed. So how that works is basically to get that, you role play as if your guard is someone. I'll use Trick as an example with his dwarf bard in Tribunal, his guard Winston, and he just kind of made journals and notes and role played that his guard's name was Winston, and eventually, the Immortals took note of that and they named his guard Winston permanently. And I think Trick has had a few pets that have had names. Like I think his dragon in Nexus had some weird name too, but it was a creature, not necessarily like an actual name. But that's how you get it. Or I think you can spend roleplay points for that too.
I don't see why not apply for that. Have them decide. There was a guy in Nexus. I don't remember his name. It's going to irritate the hell out of me too. Ended up renaming his dragon Rachel, which I thought was weird.
I wouldn't have allowed that.
Oh, I remember this. I just don't remember who it was.
Rachel, what the?
Yeah.
Oh, I had fun alluding that he was doing something inappropriate with Rachel there.
Shout out to Rachel Ray.
But there's also, you can get actual roleplay pets. And I'm not talking about the ones that you spend 60 roleplay on. I'm talking about like there was a character named Ermientrude who was a demon shaman or cleric. I don't remember which one. But whenever she put her description, it was basically a description of this like it's kind of like stooge, or I don't remember exactly what we called it.
Lackey?
Yeah, lackey that would carry her character around. Her character was like this little creepy looking old woman or something like that. I don't remember specifically, but so we basically created her a roleplay pet, and she had a roleplay pet with her, and that's what carried her around. And they can't do anything. There's also those kind of roleplay pets as well. Yeah. Winston.
So what you're saying is, if you role play well, you can kind of get all kinds of things tailored to you that aren't necessarily just obviously applicable for.
Applicable, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can. Yeah, there's different roleplay pets. So not just the ones that you can buy at the market at the what do you call that thing? The Star Bridge.
The Star Bridge. Yeah, I've never had one of those. I haven't thought about spending the RP points to get them. Hell, I don't even know if I've had the RP points to get them. I'm sure I have on something.
Yeah, 25 RP for the lowest level pet there.
Oh, that's cheap, but why buy that when you can buy edges?
Because some people want to role play.
Yeah, exactly. Not everybody gives a rat's ass about PK and all that.
No, well, hang on now. Everybody, just hang on a second. I was talking about RP earlier, and I was like, everybody wants PK. They love fuck PK, man. It's fuck PK mud. I don't want to play this shit if ain't got no PK. What now? Everybody wants RP all of a sudden? That's news to me.
You also go back to what Rygo just said, and everybody takes different things out of the game. And you don't have to PK. You don't have. Well, you do have to RP, but it doesn't have to be a whole lot. So the people who like being 80% PK will go for the edges, and the people who won't.
Yeah, I had 900 roleplay on my character, and I didn't have a single edge. I had a roleplay pet, and I had 2 rooms that I made, and then I spent some roleplay to restring some items to roleplay with people.
Only recently did I buy the RP neck for my character.
Actually, I take that back. I did buy a roleplay necklace after I became Lich, but that's it. just because I felt like Lich sucks and I needed the help.
It's a good necklace.
Yeah, they are. They're a great necklace.
What's the best necklace in the game? Is there a limit to the amount of edges that you can buy?
Only as many RP as you're willing to afford. I mean, if you want to go for like the 4 hunter edges, that's 600 RP by itself. So yeah, good luck.
So theoretically, you could have a character for like 5 years, like 5 real life years, and have probably accumulated every single fucking edge, be the leader in your cabal, and just be completely fucking unstoppable.
I'm sure if like roleplay points existed when Thulgan was around, Thulgan would probably have a ton of edges. All the edges that he would need, every roleplay item that he would need.
Well,
Thulgan didn't
even
need
with
edges.
all the edges you can buy, it doesn't make you unstoppable. It just makes you harder to kill, but it doesn't make you unstoppable.
Well,
No, it
that's yet
doesn't.
to be seen.
It helps, but you can still die because of just the rock paper scissors nature of FL. It doesn't matter how great you are and how good your PK equipment is. Someone can kill you with the right race and class combination. You're gonna have trouble with some people no matter what. You may run over a bunch of people, but eventually someone's gonna probably get upset and pissed off, and they'll roll a character to try to kill you, because that's what people do.
That is what people do. That is what people do. Now, another thing that people do sometimes is they try to dispel magic when they're clerics.
You are so hard trying to get into that, and it's kind of funny.
Actually, before we go into dispel magic, since it seems to be a hot topic that people should remove dispel magic, which makes no sense to me.
Create spring is overpowered.
What we should talk about is like watcher pets. I think we should talk about watcher pets because I personally have never been in watcher, and maybe this should. Well, you know what? We're going to talk about watcher pets.
It's not a trusted skill. It's not an elder. It's not a leader skill. I don't see why you can't talk about watcher pets.
Well, I don't know, but we're going to talk about it anyways. So I want to know like what the differences are. Why they have different ones? Do they have different properties? I've never been in watcher other than being the immortal, and so yeah, I've never paid much attention. I do know that the green dragon provides a pretty good like bash, I think, but otherwise I don't know why you would pick the other ones. Does anyone?
I didn't even know there were other ones.
Yeah, there are. I don't have very much info on that because I just did a quick test for them. Yeah, but there are 5 watcher pets. There's Blink Dog, there's Cave Bear, there's the Cockatrice, the Unicorn, and the Green Dragon. All of which are level 40. All of which are level 45, except for the Green Dragon, which is 37.
What?
Yeah.
There's a few different pets, and I think they all have different things that they do, different little bonuses or whatever. I think like the bear is like damage and maybe a fast attack or something. But
okay, from what I've seen, and I haven't checked as far as whether or not they have extra attacks or who done it. I haven't looked that far into it. Like I said, my tests were relatively short. I was looking for damage and special procs. So the Green Dragon can be used as a mount. Again, we're going into even though it flies, it doesn't impart fly onto you. Same with the Unicorn. You can use that as a mount. The Green Dragon bashes and the Unicorn sneaks. So that's handy if you want to try to sneak up on somebody, I guess. The only other thing that I've seen is the Blink Dog with the protection versus good and evil on it, and the Cave Bear is just beefy. I think you could just use it as an off tank.
Sneaky Unicorn. Now wait a minute. I've just gotten ideas. I'm getting ideas left and right. Sneaky Unicorn.
Yeah.
And so you're getting these ideas, but you're not going to share them.
Why the hell would I share character ideas with you guys? Not you guys.
Oh, they're character ideas. You figured you would have kept that one to yourself.
Sorry.
So how good is sneak though? I mean, is it like the Panther sneak where after it gets attacked or gets into a fight, it doesn't re-sneak? Or is it like perma sneak?
I thought the Panther, even though after it gets into a fight, it does re-sneak.
Not to my knowledge. I've always thought that it didn't. I was always for sure that it didn't.
Fairly certain that both the Panther and the Unicorn have auto sneak on it, which would act like the auto sneak on Elves and Drow, which even though you are being attacked, you would come back out with it. unlike the cat fur slippers, the item that gives you sneak. Once you put you'd have to take them off and put them back on in order to get that sneak effect put back onto you.
Yeah, I was for sure that the Panther, once you got into combat the first time, it didn't sneak anymore. I could be wrong. It could have changed, but I feel like in the past that's the way that it was. Somewhat.
I think in the past it might have, but if it's still that way now, I would say that's the bug. It needs to be.
Yeah, I never thought about it as a bug, I guess. I think sometimes I come across things. I think everyone as players come across things that are just a little weird, but you don't really think about it being as a bug. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean it's not. It's just.
Well, yeah, you kind of take it as is like, oh, this is meant to be this way. No, it's not really. So it doesn't hurt to throw up a bug if it's something out of the ordinary that you think. I mean, it's better to be told no than to let the bug persist.
And speaking of bugs, yes, you should bug things that you find that are weird that don't seem right, but you should also do so on the bug forum and not the prayer forum.
Yes. There's a tracker for that. Same with typos. There is a typo forum, or a typo tracker rather.
Yeah.
That I think I'm the only one who's ever used it.
I've submitted typos in the game. I've typed typo.
Are a ton of typos.
Oh yeah, I find them constantly.
Does that typo command actually work in game, or rather, not so much as does it work, but is it actually ever checked in game?
Doubtful.
I can tell you that whenever someone submits a bug in game, it pops up with a little note that's similar. That's called bug. That's similar to note. For the immortals to read, but I have never seen any kind of typo or note related to typos, so I don't know if it's like the same.
Can we get back on the sneaky unicorn for a second?
Oh, okay. So you've got these character ideas that you're not going to tell us, but you're not going to tell us specifics about, but you're going to go ahead and let us know that you've got them. And yeah, we can go ahead and go back on that sneaky unicorn character ideas that you want.
Well, hang on a minute. I'm just the idea of, I've never considered a unicorn, like in my head, I've never considered that like to be like a sneaky animal, like it has hooves, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean much of anything. Okay, yeah, you'll hear the clip clop across, not
if it's
in town and on roads, but how often have you heard deer clip clop?
That's a good question.
How often have you heard deer? Period.
Well, I don't. There's no deer. I live in the city, so there's not like.
Well, see, there you go.
He's probably never even seen a real deer.
I've seen. Okay, I've definitely seen a real deer, dude. Let's get.
I've seen a real deer mounted on the wall of the Texas State.
Yeah, exactly. Texas Roadhouse has a real deer in it.
I rode on it too.
Oh man. No, but if I'm in the city, if I'm in the city, if I'm in the city, I definitely hear like somebody sneaking. Okay, let's say there's like some kind of stealthy character with a fucking unicorn sneaking up on me in the city. Like the idea, like picturing that in my head, is ridiculous.
I'll tell you exactly. I'll tell you exactly why the unicorn has sneak. Because rainbows exist and they run on rainbows. Okay,
that is
you
not.
Can't hear them.
That's fraudulent information. And no,
unicorns
I'm not
shit rainbows.
Rainbows don't exist in FL. Rainbows don't exist in FL. I've never seen one.
Ur's beard was rainbow-esque.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And so are
ooh, you know what? I think there are rainbows. It's just flavor text in room descriptions that you never read.
Oh, color spray. You got to cast color spray.
Rainbow.
I think they need to buff color spray. What do you guys think?
It would be cool if it scaled better.
Yeah, and if it gave like not fairy fire, but it like marked somebody so they couldn't hide.
Color spray can blind you.
That's true.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It can. But I mean, what kind of
not as
is it?
well, I mean, yeah, not as good as fucking flash fire does.
Not reliable.
Well, no, because flash fire was made to blind you. I mean, it's an area of effect blind. That's all it does. It doesn't damage you. It just blinds you. Color spray has the chance to do a decent amount of damage and blind you. So
Wait.
yeah.
It does a decent amount of damage. I don't know.
Well, it
At,
certainly
like,
does at
level-
lower levels. I mean, it's your mainstay spell there for a while, but upper levels it can. But everybody seems to have like afflictive saves, so it doesn't appear to be that way.
I know. So I mean, at what point do we have these useless spells that aren't used?
Burning Hands.
Burning Hands, yeah. I mean, it's to get through low levels, and maybe that worked back in the day whenever leveling actually mattered and took time and you needed that, but now it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of a joke. And it's just a waste of a practice, and I guarantee you that most people are not putting practices into Burning Hands or maybe probably Color Spray either. At least if they know anything about the game.
Well, you
Chill
need Color
Touch
Spray.
gives you a secondary effect, so why not Burning Hands?
Sure.
Yeah, I
Burn-
mean that wouldn't
Burning
be...
Hands. Burning Hands like melts your armor a little bit. Maybe it like reduces AC or something. Or
maybe it has
whatever
a
makes
chance
it
to
see.
fire blind.
But you get Burning Hands at low level. You're looking at an Invoker with Burning Hands and a chance to blind you at starting at first level.
Yeah, I mean, don't make it a big chance. Just give it a chance to blind. I don't know. I
Or-
don't know if that would be a viable tactic at level 50 to use.
If it
But
gave like a burning effect that was like a damage over time thing, like you take some fire damage, kind of like poison, but fire.
maybe a chance to do that, because I think every time it would be a little much.
Sure, like you have a chance to save against
Because
it.
with like an
or something.
Invoker, I mean, you would because you can cast spells so fast, you would pop one of those and then just pop other spells real
Well,
quick.
you,
And it
you
would,
don't cast very fast until you get mana charge.
well, the point is at level 50 you do, and that's where it matters.
Yeah. But even then, are you really gonna do Burning Hands when you've got Firestorm, which can do the same thing? Chance for blind.
If it was a damage over time,
Well, we're
burn.
talking about like a poison almost, like
Yeah.
it or a bleed,
Or yeah.
similar to that, where it damages you every pulse. Well, that's what we're talking about right now. But yeah, which would be kind of cool, but it might be over too much.
Or if it did it like a plague every hour and you have a chance to like save against it, It only
The
lasts for
flames
like a
on
little
your
bit.
hair.
Yeah, it's like fuck, like you erupt, flames erupt around you and fucking like, you either resist it or you're like fuck. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that Invoker needs that. I mean,
Yeah, I
because
don't know either.
once they land a dispel, you can get nuked real bad, and having running away is like your only option at that point. And so, like, if you had something that was hurting you while you're trying to run, yeah, that might be a little too much.
So invokers use dispel magic quite a bit.
Well, any class that has it kind of uses Dispel Magic pretty quick.
Yeah, because it's pretty staple.
Pretty staple.
Yeah, that's mages have Dispel Magic to take away your spells. Yay.
Does it ever work?
According to some, it works 60% of the time, every time.
60% of the time, Dispel works every time.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. I mean, I've never had it. I mean, I've had it work back in the day, but I mean, I can't in recent memory remember a time when I've actually dispelled somebody. I just end up wasting a bunch of mana and getting my ass kicked.
I would say in the past, it was difficult to land. At least whenever I played, a few years ago, we'll say, before the equipment changes. After the equipment changes, it's easier to land, but I don't think it's as prevalent as a lot of people say, because a lot of people, whenever you actually go back and you look at your logs, you realize, oh, well, he cast it 3 or 4 times before it landed once, or maybe it landed the first time and then maybe it didn't land 4 times after that. It just depends.
Igor's in chat talking about how various classes and whatnot can get more spell level plus spell level going on, but while they can, yes, there isn't there a spell level cap, although we don't know what it is.
I don't think anyone really knows that except for E, and I don't know what it is.
Well, yeah, Igor said that it might be around 54, and that's entirely possible. And in that regard, yes, I mean, it would make it easier to dispel a little bit, but at the same time, you add more mental saves, and that'll negate that.
Well, I think the whole purpose of the equipment rebalance was so that you can't cover all bases. So if you're dealing with the necromancer, you're going to have to stack mental if you want to avoid being dispelled, which in my opinion is the best choice.
Yeah.
Because if you do get dispelled, the pets can F you up. But some necros go straight for afflictive damage and don't mess with the spell, just trying to out damage you. So at that point, I guess you would use afflictive. But the whole point of the saves redo was so that you had to choose. You couldn't have great saves all around. You had to choose, and depending on who you're battling, you're going to have to tailor your equipment to that. And that was the purpose, and that was originally how it was to begin with. So that was the intention of the saves. And then save versus spell specifically became so prevalent. Everything seemed to have 3 to 5 negative save versus spell, and so that's changed. And so now you have to find items, and Anume specifically made certain torso items that had like -12 to a certain save or spell. So you can grab those. There's some non-rare items, and you can build it up. So it's possible. You just got to do some exploring and some IDing and all that, because the equipment is out there. I mean, heck, like the bracers from, if you can't get like a rare wrist piece to drop some saves, I mean, like the bracers from the arena, I think are -2 save versus mental.
That's a good question. Let me bring that up real quick. I'll come back to that.
Because I used to run around with those with Arathil whenever I needed some mental.
Just so we're the all the items that you can get in the arena, their IDs are on the wiki. Just so we know.
Yes.
Save versus spell at -1 and save versus mental by 3. So that's 4 on mental with the golden bracers.
Yeah,
each slot, and it can be socketed, which means you can put another item in there. For example, I think the demon tongue, if you can find them, I think gives you another save versus spell. So that's 4 for each wrist.
Yeah.
5. Sorry, 5.
So yeah, you just gotta search around. I know there's other equipment too that gives mental, and it may not be the greatest equipment. It may be basically a piece of trash, but it gives you those saves to face that class. And yes, you'll have to give up something else. That's the whole point.
Well,
you got to give up something to get something.
It was the downside is that 12 save versus mental item that you were talking about. Isn't that the skin, which means you need to go down into Desolation Discord and beat the refracted
horror?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe the mental is the hardest to get. So I think the ice armor has -12 afflictive. The Eog armor is negative breath, I think 12 breath.
Yeah, and the twin saber, no, not twin sabers. It's Gastroids, I think it is the malediction. So out of all those, I think the hardest would be, or the second hardest to get would probably be a tie between Gastroid and the Baron.
Yeah, but I think both are pretty easy for most, especially if you have someone with you. I can see how some mages would have trouble.
Well, the hardest part about getting either of those items are the gauntlets before them. You have to go down the gauntlet to get the key to open up the Baron, and you've got the gauntlet to get to Gastroid himself. Yeah, Shadow Bottle would work for the or at least one direction, getting the key. Then you can always, I guess, you can word out and come back. But would that work in Gastroid? I'm not too certain. I haven't tried, so there's always that. Go down, get the key. There's several keys in there. There's like 2 or 3 you need to get in Gastroids.
Unless you have Past Door.
Yes, unless you have pass door, and then that just makes it a walk in the park.
Yeah.
Which is really easy to get.
Yeah, we should change that and make it where you can't pass that door.
At least the first door, yes. Second door, not so much.
Yeah, but so you just gotta prepare for the dispel magic, because dispel magic is not going to be going away. I can pretty much tell you that right now. I seriously doubt dispel magic will ever be removed. If it is, then I will say I was wrong, and I would be very, very shocked.
As we're going on that, and I think it's been mentioned on the forums, is everybody aware of how dispel magic actually works? Just to dispel
cast it.
any fears or misconceptions, rather.
You cast it, and it has a chance to spell things off of you, which means it removes spells from your effects list.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go into this. I know how it works. I think Rygo is intimate with how it works.
Yeah.
You explain it, Grim. Let's see if you know how dispel works in this regard.
Well, I always assumed you cast it, and there's a chance it goes down the list, and there's like a check or like a saving throw for every single fucking thing that you have on your effects list. That's what I thought.
So what you're saying is when you cast it, it hits the person, then it checks save versus mental versus all your spells and goes from there. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Close, not quite. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rygo. I'm probably not going to be. Is you because I've done this often enough. First thing happens is it checks whether or not it lands. So it's a pass fail basically. It checks your save versus mental with your save versus spell, and if it fails, it ends there. If it passes that, if it goes past that and actually goes into dispel, then we go into a chance to the whole check for dispel magic, by the way, is fairly convoluted. It checks various things like luck and obviously your saves and intelligence, because mental intelligence helps mental spells and so on. If it goes past the pass fail, then it goes through each one like you said. So if you've got like 6 different spells up, it'll check each one individually, but your saves at this point don't matter. It'll check the spell level it casts at does. And the higher level you cast at, or the lower the level spell that you have as a buff, the difference is there. And I think it's like 5% per level. So anything less than, say, 10 levels below you. So if you cast Stone Armor at level 40, it's got like a 95% chance to fail. And all spells have a ceiling and a floor, 5% to 95% to pass fail. But yeah, it'll go through and check each one individually at that point via spell level at the spell level cast, and that'll decide whether or not it actually disappears or not.
So your vials are getting dispelled, pretty much.
Oh yeah, your vials are gone, almost guaranteed. It's got a 95% chance that your vials, the sanctuary from vials, is dispelled. But it's like a 50% chance for your, I don't remember the exact number, I think it's 50% chance for your glimmering staff to be dispelled, because that's a level 50 cast, whereas the vials are level 15.
Yeah, didn't the glimmering staff used to be like 60 and people were having trouble dispelling it? I thought it was.
That is based off of the Queen of Misinformation, Maya. What kept toting that it was level 60.
What happened to Maya? I miss Maya.
She disappeared without a trace. I miss Maya too. Maya was absolutely great. I think it's real life that got into her.
Yeah, I imagine so. But yeah, so anyways, there you go. Dispel magic. That's how it works.
And it'll never go away.
And I seriously doubt it will go away.
Because let's see, what classes get dispel magic? You have necros, you have clerics, you've got invokers and battle mages. Okay, the subcategory of shamans and healers but they started as clerics anyway, so who gives a shit? So those are the basic 4. So if necros have dispel magic taken away, for example, then because they've got the pets, and clerics do it because they're just
they don't really get
and invokers get it taken away because they're high damage you're only left with the battle mages.
Which need all the help they can get.
Not really. I mean, they're made to be beefy attrition classes, not I'm going to go in and one shot you. Although I did that to one guy pretty much.
Yeah,
He was naked. I was naked. I steamrolled over him because I needed to.
Yeah, I don't know where battle mages are at because we haven't had one that's stuck around for a while at level 50. After the equipment changes.
So we need a battle mage.
Well, we need.
Well, several people have made some battle mages in order to test various things, like whether or not they need help. And Wade did, and he rolled an undead battle mage, probably arguably the best battle mage. And he said he couldn't die. He said he couldn't kill anybody either. But I think that's more of his inability to chase him down or whatnot.
Was there anyone around to kill at that point? Because he's in the Shadow Realm.
Well, see, that was the other thing, is probably not. But then I think Kazarius rolled one too, and he said he went in with the idea to check whether or not they needed help, to prove that they need help, and he's like, no, they don't.
I remember I was on an Illithid Necromancer fighting monk's name. I can't think of it right now. It's just too early. Undead monk played by UB. Agmeal. I got it. Yeah. So I was fighting Agmeal, and I was an Illithid Necromancer, and I used Hold Undead. So apparently that helps a lot for undead battle mages as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would work for any type of undead, but it's the only ones you'd have to worry about are the Illithids in that regard, but are not Illithids, but necromancers. So whatever. You're looking at one class against one race, essentially. That's like saying, oh, you need to look out for warders as an undead. Yeah, well, no shit, they're made to kill you. Yeah, they are going to end your day.
You mean stalkers?
Both.
Yeah, kind of. Yes.
What's the difference? What do warders do? I don't ever see warders, or I don't think I do.
Warders are more primarily against tribunal than they are the supernatural undead demon avatar. However, if no stalker is around, then a warder goes after them, and vice versa.
So warders are more tree huggery, and stalkers are more like, get the fuck out, you abomination of nature.
Yeah, I don't like the cities, and I don't like unnatural.
So they both have the same philosophy, but different kind of, they approach it at different angles, if you will. Because Stalker is more concerned with, unnatural things like undead, demon, avatar. Warder is more conserving nature, so they are against tribunal. However, if one or the other isn't around, then you go after whichever. But if like you have a stalker around and there's a demon and you have a warder, most likely the stalker should be going after that demon, unless there's other things that come into play, like cabal rank and things like that. Someone might be better suited to fight them. Like the warder might be better suited just class wise, but typically the stalker should be the one going after them no matter what, if one is around.
And while you're doing that, you could take the blink dog with you and have protection versus good and evil on the blink dog, or maybe the green dragon for a bash, or the unicorn to sneak up on the dude.
So what, it lasts a little longer? I mean, does it do decent damage, that blink dog?
Damage was bite. I didn't. I tested them out on the civilian workers in Crystalmere. I don't recall what the damage done by them was, but I like I said, this is kind of an entry level to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
But by the way, they are all physical damage except for the cockatrice, which is shock. So something to keep in mind.
Oh, that is really good to keep in mind. And a cockatrice is a giant chicken.
It's kind of, well, in lore, it's a kind of a chicken lizard thing that turns you to
Ooh.
stone.
And it shocks. And it'll shock you.
Shock
Yeah,
you to
that's
death.
the damage now.
Interesting. Even more RP ideas. Y'all just, God, every time we do this podcast, I get so many ideas. You know what I mean? And with my new PC, I'm gonna be able to play from a desktop, and I'm gonna be computing at a high level. So I'll be PKing. Oh, I'll be computing at a high level and competing at a high level. I've never had Dispel Magic land. I try to do it, and it never works for me. I don't even think it's. I mean, I'm sure it was viable once upon a time, but no longer have I ever found it viable. Anytime I feel like I'm gonna dispel this motherfucker, I'll do it, and I'll just end up, like getting blasted on, and I don't see how it's effective.
Don't see how it's effective.
Okay,
Unless you're like level 30, but I mean at 50, who's gonna get dispelled? No one's getting dispelled.
Everybody that doesn't have the damn saves for it.
eventually everyone's going to get dispelled. Eventually, it's
yeah,
just
but
a
here's the thing
numbers
with
game.
the damage output that I have to endure trying to dispel somebody. If I was just blasting him with like Path of Deceit or something, that would be a better option than sitting there getting pummeled while literally I'm doing nothing but wasting my mana and time.
Okay, so obviously you haven't had a mage since the equipment changes. So dispels happen. The thing is what players have to remember is that if you feel like you're getting dispelled and an amount that you feel like is, I don't know,
Too much? Not enough?
yeah, too much, I don't know, every 4 out of 5 times you're getting dispelled, or what you need to do is you need to go onto prayer forum and you need to post logs, and not just a log of a few dispels, but entire fight logs, like logs that are long that show a whole history of, hey, look, this is how I'm getting dispelled all the time. And that's the only way to get things fixed. So if something is off, maybe it has to do with saves, maybe it has to do with something with Dispel Magic, who knows? But that's the only way to get things changed.
It could just be it could just be negative bias. I mean, you are more sorry, kid. You're more prone to remember the bad stuff than you are the good. So you might remember that one time you were dispelled and everything dropped, even though it took 6 or 7 actual attempts for it to happen.
Okay, but I mean, can't like if somebody's like, man, dispel happens too much or doesn't happen enough, can't you just pop into the test port, fucking bring up a character, dress them in saves or whatever, and just like actually count? Why the fuck can't you do that? Because that sounds like exactly what any game developer would actually do.
It's not the same scenario at all. It's not the same scenario unless you have the exact same equipment, the exact same everything, the edges, all the stuff that comes with it.
Which is easily assignable.
Test.
That's easily assignable by an immortal that's doing their job to test development of the game. That should be really easy. And I mean, I think that would be the first go-to, because then you can actually judge and see how many times it actually takes to like do that, and whether or not that's a reasonable amount. So you can get real averages in a controlled environment. That's what scientists do.
Listen, sorry, what you're proposing to do right now is to take a volunteer staff who only has a certain amount of time anyways, whenever you're experiencing that log in real time and can easily copy and paste it into the forum, and then we can read it. And then if we needed to do further testing, but what you're saying is go off the opinion of one player that they feel like they're getting dispelled too easily, and then go onto the test port, create the exact same scenario, which is going to take time, and then run through that. And by the way,
test it out.
It's a random number.
It is, but you can get. But if you keep doing it, you can get. Yeah, but you can do averages in a controlled environment like that. It's a volunteer.
Okay, the thing is with the averages is you can do that just on pen and paper itself. You have a floor of 5%. You have a cap of 95%. Even at 5%, you should dispel somebody about half the time after 14 casts, for example. I mean, statistics is funny this way, but it would work.
But but even if that's not the case, if you go in there and test that, like it should be dispelling at this rate. Let me see how often it actually does dispel, and do like a few tests to even get an average of like what is actually happening. Because statistics are kind of fucky at times, and it doesn't necessarily translate to like real life statistics. Like you could have a 20% chance of winning on this lottery ticket, and it's like all of a sudden you scratch it and you win. It was a low percentage chance, but it fucking happened, So how many times will you actually land that shit? You see what I'm saying? Like actual hard like evidence of it, so that an immortal can see it and actually account for it and say, yes, dispelling is happening at a high rate, or no, dispelling is not happening at all.
What I'm saying here is that we need the logs because we don't have all the time in the world to go and test all this stuff ourselves. Sure, would we love to? Yeah, of course we would love to test every single little thing. However, we only have a certain amount of people, we only have a certain amount of time. And by the way, you're going to have to either have one person who's playing two characters, or you have the two mortals that have the same time to do that and work together to do that. So
you just log it. You don't have to have two immortals. You can just log a character in and just multiplay with two connections open.
That's why I said you would have to do it. One person
doing it. Take like a day to like test out different like issues that have been brought up time and time again, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna test this. And I don't think it'll take that long to load the equipment up, put it on one character, and then go actually like try that shit out.
I think you're underestimating the amount of time it would take.
I think you're overestimating it.
I think that you could just submit the logs and cut out the middleman. How about that?
Sure, you could do, but at the same time, like, what do you want? Like, do scientists just take the logs? Do they do experiments?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's basically what they do. I mean, you take a hypothesis. In this case, somebody's bringing up something. They show logs and they're saying, hey, this isn't right. This looks not right. And it can then be further tested if so desired. You just don't jump to that stage right away. Or you don't have to jump to that stage right away.
I mean, what you're talking about is, what you're talking about here is testing based off the opinion of someone who feels they're slighted, who has a biased opinion about it. So without the logs, then that's all it is. It's just a biased opinion. We have no. To
hell with the opinions. I'm not talking about the opinions. To hell with the opinions. I'm talking about with logs submitted, showing this shit. I'm talking about further investigation before anything gets actually done, so that whoever's coding it, whoever's balancing it, can fucking know for sure. Like, in this environment, these are these amount of saves. Like, I know that this character has X amount of saves. Like, let's say like 25 across the board. I want to see the effectiveness of dispel magic versus this number here, so that I can see like what it is versus a true number, so that you can gauge where the balance point is and where these numbers should be.
But the thing with this is dispel magic has been not changed. Literally has not been changed in the past 20 years. Why is this now becoming an issue?
I have no idea.
Because people don't have the saves, or not enough saves, or as Edgar is saying, that, casting at a higher level. If you're casting at a level 53 against a level 50 person, you need an extra 15% saves onto that. It's like cast, but it's a 15% chance greater to dispel somebody. So you need more spells saves to compensate. And if people aren't doing that, they're going to get their ass ripped.
Are people saying that they're getting dispelled too easily? Is that what the thing is?
Yes, it's too easily, too often, whichever way you want to look at it. But the problem here, I think, is that people are so used to having outrageous saves, along with just having one set of equipment that worked for everything. Now it doesn't work that way. You have to change the equipment. You have to figure out different ways to get around certain things. Okay.
Are you going to save versus mental? Are you going to save versus the afflictive? Are you going to stack the AC to prevent the zombies from hitting you? I mean, what are you going to do? You have to think now.
I'm just saying, and no, I agree with you that if logs are submitted and that they require more testing,
then they can be tested.
Then yes, then they can be tested at that point, and there's no problem with that. I'm just saying, don't test willy-nilly because of one post or one prayer forum complaint that they feel like they're getting slighted. And maybe they have a good argument, but I'm just saying it needs further evidence before we're going to spend what time we do have to test that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I was not getting on, just that, but I'm saying at the same time, like, different issues that they have logs or whatever submitted, like controlled testing environments, the idea of it, and to know that that's going on behind closed doors.
We have done in the past. It's not that we avoid doing that, but it doesn't happen, like, for every single change that's made, it doesn't happen, because sometimes it just doesn't require it. I mean, you can see enough proof in logs that are provided, so.
We talking about Lotus Scourge?
I think Lotus Scourge, it got to the point where we didn't need logs anymore. We knew.
Lotus Scourge.
Lotus Scourge. We're talking about Lotus
Get
Scourge.
out of here with that Texan drawl.
That Lotus Scourge, man.
No.
That pose and lands a little too.
I'm not even going to
little too
bother
much.
trying to pronounce that. Hot Springs. No, I'm not doing it.
All right. Well, so now we've discussed the spell magic and how you can fix it.
So how do we
Or
fix
help
it again?
fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do we help fix it?
Help fix it.
Submit your logs in totality to that because you might be not seeing the dispels. It's great having one dispel on there as a thing, but you kind of need the history of how often you were trying to be dispelled.
Yeah, the more logs you can post, the more substance, the better.
Likewise, even if this is going on, you can always be the aggressor and post logs sitting there saying, "Hey, look, I did it 17 times against this person with this setup. I don't think it needs to be changed. I only got one to actually land."
Yeah, if the conversation is public, you can definitely do that.
And in this case, the conversation's pretty public.
Yeah, with the spell magic for sure. So anyhow, I guess that's the end of our podcast.
Yes.
Is it? Is it though?
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Forsaken Podcast. Tune in every Thursday at 7:30 a.m. Central Time. We'll catch you next week. Have a good one.
Yep. Take care, guys.
Bye.